You know, if you're a dog lover, I bet you've looked at your best friend and wondered, are they really happy? I mean, are they truly thriving? Well, today we're going to answer that question. We're going to decode the secret language of our dogs.
See, the thing is, most dogs are loved, that's for sure, but not all of them are living their absolute best life. And since they can't just come out and tell us with words, they show us. They show us with very specific actions, little habits that tell us everything we need to know.
And if your dog does these things, well, it is a crystal clear sign that you are doing an amazing job as their person. So we're going to break down some of the biggest signs right here, right now. And hey, if this is the kind of stuff you love, really learning how to give your dog the best life possible, then you're in the right place. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, Love Dogs, for more insights just like these. All right, first up, let's dive into the most obvious signs, the ones that are just pure, unfiltered happiness literally spilling out of them.
Okay, so we all think a wagging tail means a happy dog, but it's actually a little more complicated than that. A tail wag can mean a whole bunch of different things. It just means they're feeling some kind of strong emotion. But the full body wiggle? Oh yeah, that is the good stuff. That's the dog equivalent of a giant ear-to-ear grin. It means one thing and one thing only: pure, absolute joy.
The canine behaviorist Dr. Stanley Coren actually has a name for this. He calls it social joy. You know that moment you walk in the door and your dog just can't contain themselves? Their whole body turns into a wiggling, wobbling noodle. That isn't just excitement. It's a level of happiness so intense, it literally has to burst out of them.
Okay, this next one has got to be one of my favorites. When they bring you gifts. And I'm not talking about things you actually want, but maybe a slimy ball, a random leaf, or, as this brilliant quote puts it, "Behold, human, bear witness to this sock that was already yours." It's so goofy and adorable, but it's also incredibly meaningful. This goes so much deeper than just your dog wanting to play fetch. Experts call this behavior social sharing. It's actually an instinct that goes way back to their wild ancestors, who would share resources to make sure the pack survived. So by bringing you their most prized, slobbery toy, what they're really saying is, you are my family, my pack, and I want to share everything I value with you.
And that whole idea of a pack connection, it leads us perfectly into our next section, the signs that show your dog trusts you completely. These are the behaviors that reveal they feel totally safe and secure whenever you're around.
Have you ever walked in on your dog sleeping like this? I call it the crime scene pose. Belly up, paws just dangling in the air, maybe a little snore for good measure. Well, as cute as it is, it's actually a huge behavioral milestone. A dog's belly is their most vulnerable spot. It's where all their vital organs are. So for them to sleep in this position, it means they feel 100% safe in their home.
And it's pretty similar when you're petting your dog, and they just sort of melt onto their side. Dr. Patricia McConnell calls this one of the most significant gestures of surrender and relaxation. It's that moment when their trust in you completely overrides their natural instinct to stay on their feet and be vigilant.
All right, this next one is going to sound a little weird at first. I mean, if a human friend turned their back on you, you'd probably be offended. But for a dog, it's the ultimate compliment. According to veterinary behaviorists, when a dog presents their backside to you, it's their way of saying, I consider you so safe, so much a part of my team, that I trust you to watch my back. So those big signs of trust are huge, right? But what about the quieter, more subtle gestures? These next signs reveal a profound connection that goes way beyond just simple commands and daily routines.
Do you ever get that feeling that you're being watched, and you look over and it's just your dog staring at you from across the room? Not because they want something, but just checking in? Researchers call this referential monitoring. And get this, it's a behavior that's pretty much unique to dogs among domesticated animals. It just goes to show their relationship with you is built on a real social connection, not just obedience.
And that connection goes deep, like right into how they actually process our language. This is so cool. A study in the journal Current Biology found that dogs process our speech in two different parts of their brain. One part handles the actual words we say, and the other part handles our tone of voice. And here's the crucial part. Their brain's reward centers only light up when both the words and the tone are positive. So they don't just hear you, they totally feel your vibe.
You know that long, deep sigh your dog lets out when they finally curl up next to you? That is absolutely not a sign of boredom.
Behavioral experts have found that this kind of sighing is directly linked to parasympathetic activation. That's the body's rest and recover mode. It's their simple nonverbal way of saying, life is good. I can finally relax now.
Okay, so let's talk about how all this happiness stuff shows up in their day-to-day life, proving that they're living in a stable, loving, and predictable home.
So, does your dog come over for some cuddles, but then, after a bit, confidently wander off to go chew a toy or look out the window? Believe it or not, that is a fantastic sign. The veterinary behaviorist Dr. Karen Overall calls this secure attachment. It means your dog feels safe enough to seek you out for comfort, but they're also independent and anxiety-free enough to enjoy some alone time.
Now, this next one might really surprise you. You'd think a dog who loves you to pieces would freak out every time you leave the house. But a calm departure is actually a much bigger compliment. A dog with that secure attachment we just talked about doesn't panic. They just wait calmly because they have total and complete faith that you will always, always come back.
So, what about mealtime? We all know dogs can eat like they're vacuum cleaners, and there's a good ancient reason for that. According to Dr. Mark Bekoff, eating is a very vulnerable time for an animal in the wild. But if your dog eats slowly around you, or even pauses to look up at you, it means they feel so incredibly safe that they don't need to rush. They trust you're there to keep watch.
And all of this brings us to our final and maybe the most powerful indicator of a happy dog and a strong bond, the way you play together.
You know when your dog gets down in that classic play crouch and then pounces? It might look like they're starting a brawl, but it's actually an incredibly social activity with really clear rules. Dogs use something called metacommunication, signals like that famous playbow, to make it totally clear to everyone, hey, this is just a game, this is all in good fun.
But here's the real magic, the truest sign of their love and respect. When your dog play fights with you, let's be honest, they could absolutely win, but they don't. They play gently. They respect your limits. They let you win. And that's because, for them, playing with you is not about winning. It never was. It's simply about getting to be with you.
So, as we've seen, a happy dog shows their bliss through that unfiltered joy, through complete trust in you, a deep social connection, and a feeling of total safety. If you recognize even a few of these signs in your own dog, you should feel incredibly proud. You are doing an amazing job.
We've gone through a lot of these secret signals, so here's a final thought for you. What's one sign of happiness you're going to look for in your dog today? Let us know in the comments. And for more ways to deepen that incredible bond you share with your best friend, do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button for our channel, Love Dogs. Thanks so much for watching.